Greetings, everyone. We are back. We are back with a two-pot system. My name is the Sobre Boys Walifatsi from TBR Solutions. TBR stands for the Big R Solutions. We are a financial company. These days, we are inundated with people wanting to know about two-pot system, which is good because I always say when it comes to money, the most important thing is understanding. You need to understand, you need to know what does this mean. Because in finance or in money matters, people like talking big words. And if you scrutinize them very closely, they mean simple things. Okay? Simple things, but because they've used a big words and you don't understand, you don't know what's happening. And you too end up not asking what is the meaning of this in simple terms in a layman's language. All right. Now the two-pot system, it's on its way. It's kicking in very soon. I'm counting about 4 or 5 days, if I'm not mistaken. In 4 days' time, two-pot system will kick in. Now people want to know what's going to happen. What is this two-pot system? Two-pot system was designed to assist you, especially those people who are facing financial problems, especially issues of emergencies. Like, for instance, you have a major death in the family of a breadwinner, is not insured, or all that, or something happened to your most important item that you use to bring income, which is your car, and you really need it. So you can go and access that money, which is your money, by the way. Yours is to access it, and then after access it, do whatever that you are supposed to do. All right. Now, fortunately enough, I'm both a financial advisor and a debt counselor. So I understand what's happening. A lot of people would say, look, why don't I, meaning as a government employee, access my pension so that I resolve the financial woes that I'm facing as a matter of urgency. But unfortunately, money has implications. Now, the biggest expense for all of us, for everybody, is tax. They tax you for everything. They tax you being unemployed. Even if you are dead, they tax you, okay? They tax everybody. So there is no way you can avoid tax, all right? Or you can, let me not say avoid, because avoidance is there, but you can dodge it, all right? So remember in text terminology or in text language, there are two most important concepts, which is tax avoidance and tax evasion. Tax evasion is illegal, tax avoidance is allowed. You avoid it by going through the law and using the law to avoid the tax. All right. Now, having said what I've said as my intro, that people will be allowed to access the money from their savings pot, but you need also to understand the tax implication of that. All right. Now let's start here. I'm going to show you the slides that I've designed for you. As I've already indicated that we are TBR Solution, which stands for the Big R Solutions. Now you may ask, what does the Big R stands for? All right. The Big R is nothing else but all positive English words that starts with the letter R, like reading, research, responsibility, and then resilience, results, reflect, review, relationship. So I say if you apply those words properly in your action or principle, you'll solve most of your problems. Do research, do a lot of reading, and then do reflect, review your strategy when dealing with money. Now, why two-pot system was brought into picture? It was brought into picture because I think the country they have realized that the savings culture is not there. So there is a lack of preservation before retirement. So now at the end of the day, then they designed a two-pot system. But I've already said in my intro that some people wanted to access their money. They could not access it. So now the two-pot system was designed for you to access it so that you can alleviate whatever hardships that you are facing. Now, we are talking about the pots. We have what you call the vested pot or the vested component, and then which apply the same rules as the rules that governs your pension or your money of retirement. And then the tax, same thing. And then you make contribution, excluding over the age of 55. I'll explain what's happening. Now, within that vested pot, there are two pots or two components. There is a retirement component. There is also savings component. As you can see here, this is a retirement component and this is a savings component. In the retirement component, this is the money that is there for you when you retire so that you can be able to earn the monthly annuity or the monthly income, not salary, but the monthly annuity or the monthly income. So at the retirement, you don't have, as you can see, says no access. You don't have access to this money until you are at the retirement age, okay? It all depends in terms of your pension fund, what is your retirement age. GPF, it's 60 and above, between 60 and 65. And then others, such as Alan Gray, whom I work with, it's 55 years. From 55 years, you can retire. Okay. And then the money that is here, all right, there is no way you can access it. 100% of this money, it must be allocated for annuities, okay? So that every month you can get the monthly annuity. But there's also a concept called the minimus, okay? It's a principle that is there, but I'll explain what does it mean. But now I know that people are interested in the savings. Let me explain the savings pot. The savings pot, so 1/3 of your money will go to this. Let's say, for argument's sake, you are earning, you are working, then they take 3 rand. I'm going to make it simple. I'm not going to mention big figures. 3 rand will be allocated for your pension. Now they say 1/3 of that money will be put into the savings pot. So the 1/3 of 3 rand is 1 rand. Then 1 rand will come here, and then the 2 rand will go to the retirement component. So you need to understand that. So this is how it's going to happen. But the money that is here, that 1 rand that has been brought here, you can access it. You can access 100% of that money. All right. And then, but it is limited to one withdrawal. You can withdraw, can make one withdrawal a year. You can't make more than that. Okay. And remember, there will be tax. People don't understand that when is tax applicable? Tax is applied as you withdraw the money. As you withdraw the money, you are being taxed. So that's when tax is gonna apply. So the tax will be tax according to a marginal tax table or the tax table that you have. You know, every year SARS will give us the new tax table and all that. You look at a tax table, then you'll be taxed accordingly. All right. Now, as I said, the vested pot, you are allowed to take 1/3 of your money to put it in the savings as from the 1st of September 2024, which is 4 days from now. And then you'll be allowed to access that 1/3. The 2/3 will go to the retirement component, okay? And this is the money that you cannot access. This money is going to be used to buy the annuity because the annuity need to assist you to earn that monthly income. Now, the other principle that you need to understand, there are those people who have been working for years. They didn't start in 2024. There are those people who are 40 years, 30 years, 25 years, 10 years, 15 years, they've been working. So those people, they already have money in their vested component. So now in that case, what's going to happen is from the 1st of September, they are going to seed the lower of 10% or 30% once off. In other words, they can only seed 10% of what you have in the vested component. And then, but that money should not exceed 30,000. It has been kept at 30,000. What does that mean? Let's say for argument's sake, Mr. Ndlovu has been working for 30, 40 years. In his kitty or vested pot, he's got 5 million. So the 10% of 5 million is 500,000. They are not going to seed the entire 500,000. Instead, they are going to seed only 30,000 because they can only seed 10%, the law of 10% or 30,000, all right? And that's the money that you can have as once-off access to that money, all right? And then I'm gonna show here quickly what's happening. But before that, let me try to share something with you. Remember, I said we are a financial company, and as a financial company, I always stress that people need to understand how money operates. So one of those succession is for you to succeed, you need to understand how money works. And you can know that by reading books. Let me tell you, this is one of my first books that I wrote. When I wrote this book, this is what happened. I've always wanted to have money. And then, I was a little bit worried. How do people make money? Fortunately enough, I had an uncle who was very, very rich, but he never taught me anything. But he brought me up. I grew up at his place in Tembisa. And then I was watching how he does things. And then I'm very observant, learning from him. And then I started reading books, to try to understand how people make money. Because why? My uncle was having only standard six, but the man was so rich, so rich. All right. And then with merely standard six. So now the question was, it was not about education, but it was, there must be some secret. As I read, I discovered the secrets, how the rich make money. So I wrote this book because I was a little bit worried that one day I'll pass on. My children, they want to know how people make money. So let me put it down so that one day they have that legacy they can read. So that's my first book called Secret for Becoming Rich. I wrote the first edition. This is the second edition of it. And then you can get this book from us, and then you can learn a lot about how money is being made. And then I also have this book of a friend of mine, Dr. Darlene Small, an economist by profession. She worked for the Reserve Bank for 33 years as advisors to reserve governors. And then she has been there for 33 years, as I've already said. Then she wrote this book, How to Win the Wealth Game, The Art of Money. So if you also want this book, you can just approach us. Then the other book that I wrote is called How I Turned 500 Rand into a million rand business. And then let me tell you, when I started my business with money. I lost all the money. And then when I started the business that I'm running now, I started with no money, nothing, no money. So you can get it. How did I do it? And I learned from others by reading from their books. So now let's continue with our conversation of the two-pot system as I was explaining earlier on. Let me go back to my presentation of the two-pot, and then to assist you to understand how did we do it. Let's see whether you are able to see this again. Yeah, as I indicated that this two-pot system, the purpose is to assist you to resolve your issues. But now, if you are not careful, you may find yourself not be in a position to resolve issues. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to get the slides that I wanted to show you. Let's see where I think we're here. And then, yeah, yeah. Now, remember I said, I gave an example that they are going to see the 10%, lower of 10%, or 30,000. In other words, the money will never exceed 30,000. Let's say we are in a situation whereby, there are some other people, they have retirement annuity apart from their pension. They have retirement annuity. Let's say this person has about other retirement annuities except the pension. Let's say this person, Agra one person, one portfolio or one product. He has a 2 million, which is of a pension, and then another product, retirement annuity, which is 500,000. Another product, it's retirement annuity again, is 100,000. Okay. Now remember, we said the principal, they must seed 10%, the low of 10%, or 30,000. So it cannot exceed 30,000. No, now here, they are going to take only 30,000 from 2 million and seed it this side, as you can see. And then from this side, they are also going to seed 30,000 and then seed it this side. And then the person will be left with 470,000. Up there, the person will be left with 1.9 million, 70,000. Then this one has 100,000. This product has 100,000 retirement annuity. So remember, the principal is 10%, the low of 10%, or 30,000. Because it's 100,000, they will seed how much? 10% of 100,000, which is 10,000. They are not going to seed 30,000 here, but 10%. So now, how much is left in this person's vested pot? You take 1.9 million, 70, you add it to 470, add it to 290, it gives you 2.5 million, 30,000. Then when it comes to the money seeded, this person will be in a position as from the 1st of September, 4 days from now, to access 70,000. Remember, we said you can access 100% of it. You are not limited only to 30,000. Okay, it depends how much you have on your vested pot. But as I indicated that it doesn't end there, because the more you withdraw, the more there are tax implications. Now, let me explain another principle, the de minimis. The de minimis simply means the money that you can be able to access. If that money is in your vested pot, you can be able to access that money. All right? So currently, with the introduction of a two-pot system, the money that you can access is 165,000. Let's say your vested pot has 165,000. In this case, you can access the entire 565. There is no money that you can annuitize or put it aside for annuity. So you can take the rest of the money. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Prior to two-pot system or the 1st of September, the money, let's say a person now in the vested pot has 247,500. That person can take it all. No money will go to, if he wants it, he can take it all. All right? But because two-pot system has come into picture, the person now, the money has been reduced now from 247,500 to 165,000. All right. Now, remember we said the vested pot, that's where you have the money. Now, let's say, argument's sake, let me just explain. In the vested pot, you have 90,000, and then retirement, you have 20,000, and savings, you have 10%, okay? All in all, you have about 120,000, okay? So that's the money that you have. Now, when we want to understand how do they calculate the de minimis, principle. Let's say you've got 90,000, all right? Remember, 1/3 of that money goes to what? Goes to savings pot. The 2/3 goes to what? Goes to savings pot. All right. Now, this person's got 90,000 times 2/3 or 2 divided by 3, and then the vested pot will be 60,000, and then retirement. All right. Remember, retirement is 20. If he has 20,000 under retirement, you don't touch that one. Then the entire money will go to retirement. That's 20,000. Savings, because you continue to withdraw all the time, maybe there is 0. So all in all, the diminished amount for this person will be 80,000. So those are some of the explanation that I wanted to give it to you. Now let's go to another most important aspect that you need to understand, because if you don't do things accordingly, you'll finally regret, because tax is gonna apply. But before I explain about taxation, I'll remind you again, as I've already indicated, that we are a financial company. Our job is to advise people how to deal with their money. Our job is to give you advice that invest here, do this, this is how you capitalize, this is how you can ensure that you minimize the taxation. Now, there are those people who are GPF members who are 55 years and above, and I talk to many of them. They are tired, they want to leave, but they are scared because they are afraid that they are going to be penalized. Of course, you are going to be penalized because you would have retired prior to your retirement age, which is 60 to 65, if you are a GPF member or a government employee. But with us, with Allen Gray is one of the product supplier, my product supplier. I'm running my own company, which is TBR Financial Services, under TBR Solutions. So now, Allen Gray is a product supplier, and then they assist me to help people to invest with them. So now with Allen Gray, you can retire at the age of 55, all right? Let's say you decide to leave and you are not yet 55, and then you are a member of GPF. As I said, if you are not 60, they'll penalize you. And the penalty is 0.33% from the month you resign until the month you reach the age of 60. Right? You need to be very careful about that. But if you say, Mr. Chabalala, I want to resign, but I want to take all my pension and transfer it to an independent fund, which the law allows you to do that. Once that happens, that transition, you'll never be taxed, not even a cent. And I mean, not taxed, you'll never be penalized, not even a cent. Tax, they'll continue to tax, but it will be much better. It will be at minimal level. Now, let's go back to two-pot system again. Now, as I've already indicated, that the implication are more when you withdraw the money, okay? It's not about when there is movement, taking the money from this fund to that fund, there's no taxation. But when the money goes to your bank account, taxation apply. Let's say a person is 40 years, he wants to leave. When you want to leave, there will be tax, all right? But before I go there, every South African is entitled, according to the tax law, to 550,000 tax-free. So in other words, 550,000 will never be taxed once in a while, all right? Then let's say you are 40, you want to resign. When you resign, 550,000 will apply when you are already at a retirement age. Prior to retirement age, the tax that will apply, it will be guided by the withdrawer. Then when we withdraw prior to 500 there, prior to retirement, you are entitled to 27,500 tax-free. 27,500. Then you leave. When you leave, whatever money that you take, but because you are before 55, 27,500 will be tax-free. Then the money after 27,500 will be taxed. Now let me show you here. 27,500, 27,501. This R1 will be taxed according to the tax table. As you can see here, as per tax table, here 27,500, it's zero. It's taxed at zero, so there is no taxation. But any money above that, 27,501 to 726,000, it will be taxed at 18% of the taxable amount above 27,500. Let's say R1 is above, so that R1 will be taxed at 18%. So I'm just simplifying it for you so that you understand. I'm currently talking to an accountant to explain it even much better, okay, with a better example. So, but here I'm just giving you a principle so that you understand. But if, let's say you leave, you're already at retirement age. Remember I said any money from 0 to 550,000, it won't be taxed. But any money from 550 and R1 to 770, it will be taxed at 18% of the taxable income above 550,000. So you need to understand it. That's very important. And please take this very seriously because this has implication. Now, let me show you here under savings. Let's say you are here under savings. As you can see here, you leave, and then any money between 0 to 237,100 is taxed at 18%. Then this is a tax table, any money between 237 101 to 370,500 will be taxed at this amount, 42,678 plus 26% of the taxable income of the above, of any amount above 237,100. So you need to be very careful. This is a very technical thing. So that is why I said I want an accountant also to explain it further. So now it will be easy for you to say, no, we want to access our money and then let's go. And then, but you are not careful that the more you do that, then you are exposing yourself to tax implication. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say two-pot kick in, and then remember we said you're allowed to take 30,000 or even more. It all depends. I've showed you that example whereby a person can get 70,000. Let's say you take the 30,000 for the next 10 years. In 10 years, you would have taken how much? 300,000. If this principle of 550,000 tax-free still applicable, that means you'll be in a position to enjoy only 250,000 tax-free. That's the money. So now you need to bear that in mind, all right? Now remember we said when you transfer the money, as I said earlier on, from one fund like GBF to independent fund, Allen Gray and others, then that transition as it happens, there's no penalty. You need to understand that. Tax too, it does not apply when that happens, okay? Tax apply as soon as the money is being withdrawn. Even during the transfers between the components in the same fund, no tax will apply. Even during the process of seeding, if they move your money to the city, there is no tax applicable. So be careful. And then when it comes to fees, fees for the financial advisors, fees for the institution, whether it's the bank or the fund, they will remain the same. So you need to be very, very careful, people, with this two-pot system. People are very excited, and then people are looking forward to do that. So just be very, very careful. Take it easy, okay? Don't rush. Before I leave, I just want to give you another thing. These are our contacts and everything, our registration number. As you can see, there is our FSP license, our VET number, and so on. All right, here is our contact number if you want to contact us. Now, as I've already indicated to you, that we do a number of things, and then anything that has to deal with money. And then one of the help that we give people, we have a lot of people who have been tricked by debt counselors who say to people, no, we are going to give you consolidation, hiding as if it's consolidation, whereas it's debt counseling. And a person says, no, I don't want debt counseling. No, this is not debt counseling, but it's consolidation. Now, what happened? The person ends up being in under debt review. And remember, when you're under debt review, you cannot make a debt. And the only way to get out of there, you can only be cleared by another debt counsel. So fortunately enough, we are registered debt counselor. We can be able to clear you. We can clear your debt review status. We can clear your judgment. You can clear your what you call your blacklisting. All right, but after or based on certain requirements have been met. So you need to meet certain requirements. It's not just a carte blanche clearance. All right. So when you approach us, we'll tell you what should happen, how are we going to do it. Now, if you want to know more from us, or how can we assist us, how can we assist you, just drop us a WhatsApp on 06067 915 1447. 067 915 1447. And you can also go to our YouTube site to learn about a lot of financial concepts like this one. If you want to understand how to increase your credit score, go to one of our clips that we have done it with Credit Bureau, then they can help you to understand. If you want to know if you are not happy the way GPF has treated you, how to approach the ombuds for GPF, go to our site, you'll see. We've interviewed the ombudsman for GPF before, I think twice. So there's a whole lot that you can learn from our side. So you can go to our YouTube channel and then subscribe. The best thing, subscribe, so that as we post, then you get a notification that we have already posted something or something is to be posted. Now, before I go, I want to remind you, drop us a WhatsApp on 067 915 1447. 067 915 1447. Or you can go to Facebook, the Big R Solutions, or Sobre Chabalala. I thank you. I hope you learn a lot. Much appreciated. Bye.